Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with another deck guide for you, our first guide for Iron Judgment. However, the first guide unfortunately will not be Northern Realms. I did try to play some Northern Realms games with Radovid, actually with Henselt's old ability, Mobilization. I felt like the new Redanian archers had a chance to really make a splash, but we couldn't quite get there. But in the meantime, we played two decks today, and we just crashed through the ranks. Starting off with Mystic Echo. This is Rowdy Dwarves. I'm sure you've seen a lot on the ladder today. It is worth documenting because this deck is ridiculously strong, and I will outline all the reasons why it is ridiculously strong right now. Dwarves have crept up on us. However, if you did play in the last couple of metas, it was still an option to run Francesca with the Mystic Echo ability, which is what I am running. So this isn't effectively a Francesca deck, but if you're just tuning in, now you play with very specific abilities attached to a leader, and that leader can be any leader you want. It's mostly cosmetic, completely cosmetic unless you care about animation time. But we are effectively playing Scoia'Tael with the old Francesca / old Ethna ability, right? Because we've been through so many versions of Gwent, it's just the next one. Mystic Echo is the deck. We are replaying a special card from our deck, and those special cards are Novigradian Justice, Call of the Forest, Zoltan's Company. And Tempering, but you're not going to do that. That just makes sure that FOV isn't bricked. So let's talk about how Dwarves kind of came out of nowhere here. First, I want to say that Iron Judgment was very kind to Scoia'Tael. They got some of the best cards in the set, the Dwarf Berserker, as well as the cards associated with the Dwarf Berserker. Pretty good. I mean, I can see why you would look at this card. Like, the way that they probably priced this card is that whatever it does it only for as long as it has armor. So it's got the ammunition, it's got a maximum kind of cap on what it can do. But for 4 provisions, that maximum cap of 7 is pretty fucking good. I will say the Dwarven Chariot is a consideration if you're running cards like Great Oak, which I am because it does place 2 bodies in the row. However, I felt like this card is probably, I actually have a very special slot for Vrya Dragoon for movement. So that's what would normally be maybe just 1 Dwarven Chariot, but you can run it. And then we get into the all-star cards. First of all, Zoltan's Company, for what this card can do for your board state, it is unbelievable that you can actually get away with sticking this card in your deck at 6. Puts 3 dwarves on the board. Why is that so important? Well, there's a bunch of cards that give a shit about how many dwarves are on the board. And there is also this 4 provision point card called Mulligan Guard. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I think that Venendal Elite is so good because with a base strength of 4 and a likely boost of 6, that card is very good at 5 strength in a specific Nilfgaard deck. This card is better than that card in any Scoia'Tael deck at all ever at this point because you are always getting 6 or 7 very easily because there are tons of cards that spawn more than 1 dwarf. Let's count the ways. Zoltan Warrior, Figus, Zoltan's Company, Novigradian Justice, and if you are running the Dwarven Chariot when they're bonded, they make a bunch of extra units as well. So it's really easy in a medium-sized round to just stay ahead by dropping this guy who is just getting better and better as things go on. And it's very difficult even with a wide strategy, unless you're running Surrender very specifically, which is the special card that wipes out all the armor and then damages everything. Surrender very specifically will help you. This card would just stop the Rowdy Dwarves. You also need solutions for Novigradian Justice, which is the other massive part of it. So just starting at the very lowest end here, you've got a ping of 3, so much for your for your Fire Scorpions, for your Arbalests, for any engine at 3, the Dwarven Skirmisher is going to wipe that out. The Dwarven Berserker is going to ping away at whatever you play, and the Mulligan Guard is going to eventually be a 9 or 10 point card. It can be 11 at the top end, but it's usually you're going to see it at like 8 or 9. And then you have the Dwarven Mercenary. We'll get back to this card. Mulligan Marauder just kind of shores up the bottom end of the deck just by being really solid dwarves that play for 6 or 8, which is fantastic already when we've already talked about how good these other dwarves are at 4. Every single one of these dwarves at 4, except for maybe the Dwarven Skirmisher, punches above its weight. Tempering is here just to make sure that FOV isn't bricked, but you can afford the provisions because the legendaries for Scoia'Tael and Iron Judgment are expensive. It is Mulligan Volunteers because you might as well play them. You're always going to get a dwarf to stick. And then you have the flex slots. I would say that the Mulligan Defender and the Vrya Dragoon are flex. I like to run Dennis Cranmer, Novigradian Justice sometimes to play with the Mulligan Defenders. As I got further into the day today, it seemed like everybody was just playing Novigradian Justice, Mercenary. That seemed to be all that people played. As more people tech against this, be it Ericus Venom, I don't know, Epidemic, we'll figure it out, I guess. I think it's going to be better to split up the Novigradian Justices. But so I think that having the 1 defender and running Dennis Cranmer is fantastic. Good old Dennis Cranberry. So Dennis is going to be one of the last units you're going to play before playing something like Barclay Elves, and then ultimately the Great Oak. So are you paying attention? There are like 4 different ways that you can beat the crap out of your opponent with this list. Barclay Ellis is just an amped up Mahakam guard, but also can apply the buff to the Mahakam Defender if you had to play it from hand. Honestly, the Mahakam Defender is probably the weakest card in this list. The Vryad Dragoon is also fairly weak, but I just really needed movement, and I couldn't really afford to play Kieran. But, you know, it's fine. 5 for 5 that moves. But if you want to run elves, there's also the Harmony Dwarf, the Miner, that was added in Iron Justice as well. Because you're able to create so many dwarves so easily, and you're often going to have 4 or 5 dwarves on the board at any given time, this card is very good. But the actual wording of this card makes it a no-brainer in the armor meta. Zoltan just destroys the unit if the power equals the amount of dwarves, armor or nothing. So playing this late game is just as devastating as playing something as Barclay late game. But if you're paying attention, you don't have to play either of these late into round 1 because you just have the Mahakam guards if you want to. So now let's talk about the generals, these 3 legendary dwarves that are just crazy good. The first one is Figgis. So I'm going to talk about Novigradian Justice in the current strat right now that is really, it's scary. It is scary. The Novigradian Justice combo right now is playing Dwarven Mercenary, either 2 or 4, depending on if you have Mystic Echo and what you have in your hand and what you're able to do. And then with the second available play, dropping Figgis, which defends all 4 of these engines, putting the game effectively completely out of reach of your opponent. I have never had a game where my opponent came back from this. In fact, most of them are forfeits. Forfeit wins don't feel good because it means that the opponent is just knows. He knows too much already. And on day 2, it's kind of scary. And then we have Monroe. Monroe helps you any round you need to push. At 11 provisions, you think that's pretty expensive. But again, are you paying attention? We are getting so much value out of our low cards. We can play these beater cards early. So now you have 2 Dwarven Berserkers, which are creating effectively 7 strength units in some cases. And those things can continue to chip away and work on armor or whatever you need to do while also playing a 7 strength body. I don't understand how this card was printed in the same set as Philippa Blind Fury at the same provision level. This card can do great, but it does need a board state, and he comes with 7 strength attached to him. Philippa's 1 strength. Yeah, it's a strong effect, but she is 1 strength and this dude is 7. We have Zoltan Warrior. Zoltan Warrior has 2 modes. Either spawns 2 Rowdy Dwarves, just like Figgis, just like a Bonded Dwarven Chariot, which is a mode that you are more than happy to play most of the time, and the flexibility is worth it for how strong this card is, for how expensive this card is. However, if you play it after playing Zoltan's Company, or perhaps playing double Zoltan's Company with Mystic Echo, I mean, the thing is, this deck is so consistent and can win in so many ways, you'll just find all these wild paths to victory. Zoltan's now boosting all of those dwarves by 2, so you know, do the math. That's 12. If you're able to play 2 Zoltan's Company, you just played an 18-point Zoltan Warrior. It's not too bad. And then, of course, Novigradian Justice for the aforementioned Dwarven Mercenary combo that can be protected by Figgis, or the Mahakam Defender if you have Dennis Cranmer and you want to play a different strategy, you want to play more of a tall strategy for whatever reason. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want and win however you want. And then the cherry on the cake is the Great Oak. You have Call of the Forest in the graveyard for Mystic Echo. You have Fauve to grab it if you need it. And of course, you could just have it in your hand because you've thinned so much. You've played Fauve into Call, into whatever. You've thinned out your volunteers. It's just really, really hard to have a hand bad enough to lose right now with this deck. Check out the highlights. You're going to see some pretty crazy games. They were all highlights, really. We just smashed the crap out of everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow for Monsters. We got Bugs coming up on Friday as well. So that deck is super fun as well. We're going to be playing a little bit more of that tomorrow, get some more highlights. But check this one out. Thanks for watching, my friends. Iron Judgment is out. Pick it up. PlayGwent.com. Follow, like, and subscribe. All the shit. I'll see you guys later. Thanks. Are they trying to tank their own rating? No, I guess they just don't like the idea of going first in that matchup, even though I think going first is okay. Nothing like a dwarf to get you out of that tight spot. You can see my deck with the Gwent Observer overlay, my friend. Wafel 1986. Nilfgaard, huh? Well, now I'm always keeping this card in my hand for the rest of time. This movement card. So what are we using our tactical on? I'm not even sure. Seems kind of meh. Come on! Who's fast? You only want to be in videos if I debeard you? Oh boy.
sands are plenty in
The dragon will be good at least for this, if I care about that.
Hi ho.
No secure! Charge!
I'm going to play the defenders, and I'm going to call out... Yeah, I play the defenders. With Novigradian Justice. Right. Oh, fuck me. They look the same. Oh, this is going to be embarrassing. Well, this makes our this makes our blue coin very bad. This was
You're serious? That's your move?
I'm just gonna have to pass now because I fucked up. All dwarves look the same. I just grabbed the wrong dwarf. It is what it is.
Stars content, you shall be victorious today.
Like, I just have to pass. What we got out of this is the card. That's just how it has to be. We have to just look at it like we got the card, it went into a long round, and we're probably going to be fine because we have Novigradian Justice and Zoltan's Company, which is also fine. Call of the Forest is also fine for Dennis.
I swear on my lady skirt.
Need a break? It's only been an hour and a half. I just clicked it fast. Damn you, defender. Damn you. Now we have like a really dangerous card in our deck for mulligan purposes. I mean, our hand is fantastic. It's just so good. The only thing we're really missing is Zoltan's Company, which I actually would trade the defender for. Wow, that's exactly what I got.
Without hesitation.
Go for it, man. There's nothing in here that I want except for Call of the Forest, but I guess I'll have to play that now. I can't play it now, though. If I do play it now... I mean, whatever. We just hope he didn't get it. We just have to hope he didn't get it. Mill alert! Well, I've got all my good cards then, so he's just gonna lose, right? I think I play Bruno. I think I play Monroe, actually.
Might be none too tall, but cracks skulls as well as any other.
He'll be like, oh, I'm gonna definitely pass now, and it's gonna be a bad idea for him, I think, to do that. Summoning Circle rework is meh. I mean, it is a different card, that's for sure. Okay, so we see our mulligans pretty straightforward. This card and this card. We are going to have a lot of dwarves on a row. Are you kidding me? He played it. He got it to play. The fucking War Dancer. Twice in 2 days, that shit. Twice in 2 days. This shit here. We got the Mercenary. Okay, that's okay because we only can play Novigradian Justice once. Okay, so anyway, at least you can't use it as a finisher, I suppose. That's one thing that's good, I guess.
Now we must stick together. If anyone's got any hooch left.
If it's on no, if it's moved. It wasn't moved there, he mulliganed it, and it ended up on the top of the deck. Oh, he really wants this to... He sees this... Okay, so I might just want to move this. Just shut it down with movement. No, I think playing Figus is just better. hold these charges. We're gonna move that Magni.
Let's make this quick.
No, we're gonna move Evo. Because it's gonna shut them both down that way. This is great. This is so good.
Peace with humans? I buy that.
2 engines down. Oh, it's not a threat. I'm not gonna use my charges. It's weird to wrap your head around. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. But as long as this guy has defender, that's it, right? Other units on this row can't be hit
No
with
one
anything.
can hide from me.
Oh, yes, and he got the worst thing in my deck. This might be a highlight game for sure. Dennis Cranmer is also good. If I'm expecting him to clog up the row.
Wait, yes, you won't let us talk to strangers.
He's had it. Well, I will say that this deck seems like my opponents just have no way of dealing with what's happening. Well, they didn't, Terranoth. I think it's a bug, but if it's intended, then it's stupid. It's just stupid. I'm going to be on record saying that that card is absolutely stupid if it's supposed to work like that, and I will campaign for that to change every time it happens to me. What am I talking about? Affin Hilligrand. So the card reads, if the card is moved to the top of the deck, play it. That's fine. However, if a player mulligans the card away out of their hand in the mulligan phase and it just happens to end up on the top of the deck because it's a thin deck, then I think that's stupid.
If it's peace you desire.
In a hyper-thin situation, you can guarantee, I guess, that it's the top card, and then it would have to play or else it would be stupid in that way, but I'd rather it be stupid in that way, I guess. I think shutting down Evo and the Magni at the same time was super good. Time to good Gwent again. Thanks, Broccoli.
Praise be to the great sun!
Epidemics gave these Scorches. Well, the problem with, Epidemic maybe. Epidemic maybe. It's gonna take a while. Someone's gonna get sick of this and stream Epidemic, and then it's gonna be big, probably. But it's day 2. That doesn't appear to be happening yet. We haven't had. This is like one of the first games in a long time where we haven't had Novigradian Justice in hand, but that's okay. Because we'll play Monroe then. We'll play Monroe into the Zoltan's company. I'm starting to wonder if I don't even need this card. It's not that it's bad; it's excellent. But I'm just wondering if it's even necessary. If Great Oak does more, I don't know. Been facing just random decks. You have no idea what to tech for. Yeah, it's starting to get more solidified. Today, it's been pretty clear, right? Let's go to the match history. Let's log into playgwent.com, my friends. This play is cool, though. So here's where the card is not stupid. I think this is a great play. It reminds me of Darren Morkvarg. But now this isn't an issue for me later.
Never had your kneecap broken.
I'll play slow. I think I can play slow. So the opponents today have been Monsters, Scoia, Syndicate, Nilfgaard, Scoia, Nilfgaard. So, and the Monsters deck kicked the shit out of me. So that's... Skellige's okay with the... Skellige's okay because they have like they have some good combos. Skellige's the worst though, I think, out of all of them. Northern Realms has Pincer Maneuver, and that's a pretty good deck, I think. I think I just play Monroe here.
Satisfying as plucking a ripe apple.
NR just doing what NR does. You only lost to Deadlock because I misplayed. I can't remember it like that, but it's possible. It's possible. There was another game where I the mirror, the Scoia'Tael mirror I misplayed, but I mean, I forfeited less than my opponent forfeit against me, that's for sure. You just don't see this deck losing against other decks? I mean, yeah, it's obviously looking pretty good right now. This is Nilfgaard Soldiers, though. Like, it's just not really a refined deck at this point. I think I need 2 Vrya Dragoons. I might consider running the Harmony Miners if I have an excuse to put in, like, Dragoons and more locks. Although I'm just not losing. I'm just not losing, right? So, like, what's the big deal?
Got a hearty hankering for GWENT.
Savola's Finder really cost 0, or is it an error on the webpage? Well, you could say, in some ways, that it costs 0. I don't know why I put this here. That was just a mistake.
Right, come on! Who's first?
Savola's Finder costs 9. However, Madame Louisa makes it free. Oh, yeah, right. Savola's Finder is played through Savola, which is free if you play with Louisa, so it feels free.
Scheiß in time!
So I think this guy is obviously playing Damien. If I play Zoltan here, we get the 10 points, we go up to 36, and then we can just take it with the Mahakam Guard.
Double scheiß! For Mulligan!
Easy game. Those Dwarf Berserkers are pretty good, but Monroe is what was good there. Monroe is the play that I committed, but I didn't overcommit because I didn't play Novigradian Justice and I didn't play Brewer. I didn't play any of these guys. So this guy can go. There's Novi Justice. We have, for the decisive round, we have the movement. There's Figus. That's really all we need, I think, to really push and kill. So we go for the bleed then, because we still have a very strong play in Great Oak. Like, if he counters this outright, we just play Figus, Great Oak, Barkley, Dennis. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not bad. We just lose, like, a huge amount of... We just lose everything.
They used tired my tongue about that. If anyone's got any hooch left.
Go on in, Kazan!
Yeah, he's fucked.
Need much challenge once you knock them off their horse.
Locking doesn't matter. You have to purify this. Or move it.
I shall do as you command.
And he's putting Affin back on top here. That's a cool play, too.
Shall know the Emperor's fury!
It's a cool play, too. I do like it. So to fill this row, we can only play 2 more units. So those 2 units need to be Dennis and Great Oak. So we play Great Oak first. If you tech Epidemic, you have to get the Rowdy Dwarves out there first, then. I mean, if I was running into Epidemic, I wouldn't be playing like this. If I suspected my opponent at any point would have Epidemic, I wouldn't even have attempted to bleed here.
I've never run from no one, and I'm not about to start.
He probably wants me to hit this. So I'm not going to focus on it right now. I'm just going to kill this first. This makes his Leo better or whatever. spending all these just to get like 1 extra point. But I don't know. I could just break the armor. Well, I have to break the armor on this. I'm just gonna keep playing. If they play it like they yeah. If I played it like me, if they had Epidemic, I would die. But I have seen 0 Epidemic today in like 10, 12 games. So I'm gonna play like they don't have it. So yeah, Epidemic beats me. Enjoy your teching. My opponents aren't doing that yet, so I'm not gonna play around it. By the way, like, we almost lost to this before. Whoa! What is happening here?
Mercy, I will not hurt you. Never.
Well, I think we could say this deck is very good.